Hola, ¿qué tal? Espero que estés muy bien. Hola, ¿qué tal? Espero que estés muy bien. Estoy aquí emitiendo en YouTube y en Facebook en directo a la vez. Y quizá estás escuchando un poco de el canto desde la mezquita, que sigue sonando aunque esté aquí en... Oh, I'm doing it in Spanish, sorry. So, if the title is in English, here it's in English. Thank you for being here. I'm talking to you from this lockdown in Kuala Lumpur. Maybe you hear the Muslim singing, uh, sings even if we are in this coronavirus lockdown. But today I want to talk about vulnerability and vulnerability in the midst of inner and outer crisis. And I want to touch about a couple key elements of vulnerability and how vulnerability can be, and I don't think can be. I think it's absolute key to experience freedom and to experience happiness. Why? If you see the most happy humans on earth, they are all less than half a meter. Yeah. They are all babies, the most happy people on earth. And this is really good news actually, because you were once a baby, and in a way you are still a baby. That's what I talk about in my book. That it's 1 second. um, I'm just gonna show it to you. And if you see babies beside being all of them less than half a meter, I guess all of them, they are also the most happy people on earth. They cry every day. Yeah, yeah. This is not a coincidence. The happiest people on earth cry every day. That's a pretty cool sentence, I think. Why? Because it's shocking. At least it is to me, even if I have said it already a couple of times in the last couple of days in different conversations with my clients and with friends. And why is this important? How does this apply to you? It applies to you because if you want to be one of the happiest people on earth, you need to cry every day. You don't really need to cry every day, but you need to release tension every day. You need to be vulnerable every day. You need to find a way that to be open enough to embrace your vulnerability, to embrace the pain that it's not that it's coming now, it's already started in you. Call it pain, call it tension, call it stress. I think tension, at least for me, it's the word that works better to talk about something in a really useful way without any positive or negative connotation, or at least not negative connotation. It's just tension. It's just energy that is storage inside of me or inside of you, and that it's making your machine, your software, less efficient. So when something happens in the outside that triggers that tension in the inside, 1 second, I'm gonna put the mic better. When something happens outside, whether it's this global crisis that you cannot come out of your home, whether it's even people dear to you or people dear to people dear of you that maybe are dying out of this crisis. Where your country, I'm from Spain. Oh shit, I have to charge the battery of the computer, so bear with me 1 moment. Okay. This is unexpected. 1 second. Thank you very much for the patience. And I'm with you in a more professional way in a moment. So there is a global crisis, or there is just a difficult conversation with your partner or your housemate or your dad or your employee or your boss. If you shouldn't have a boss, that's another conversation for another one of these emissions. But you shouldn't have a boss because you are the boss, because you are the leader. You should follow no one but your own God. But back to the vulnerability, which is the topic of today. We can talk about that in another moment. If something triggers this tension inside, you have two options. One is to run away from it. One is to create a stronger defense, so you don't feel that vulnerability. And that's probably the first reaction that most of us have. At least I do still. But then there is another option. Once you become aware, you can just do what I call Fearhacking Method. You can bring your attention to the most intense sensation and stay in touch with it and become present precisely with that is the most uncomfortable. Instead of being present only if you like what's going on, be present precisely when you dislike what's going on, because it's when there is more chances that you are going to react and that you are going to create a greater mess. So be really attentive to the most intense sensation and feel that vulnerability. And maybe you will cry or not, but just now, putting my attention in the most intense sensation, in that tension that I am feeling, and you can do it with me if you want. You don't need to share with anyone this. No one is gonna see you. Yeah, you can get in touch with your most intense sensation. What is the importance of this? Right now, that tension is releasing from my nervous system. Now, does it make sense to you that if that tension releases, I am gonna be more efficient? That if I am not able to be okay with this tension, then I am not okay with showing up here and doing what I love the most, which is do my best to impact positively other human beings. But if I can, like I can right now, be in touch with that most intense sensation, even if it makes me vulnerable, if it makes me cry or almost cry, then I can do what I love the most in spite of anything. Then and only then you are unstoppable. Do you follow me? Then and only then you are unstoppable. Only if you can be okay, if you can be okay enough with the most uncomfortable feeling that you can feel, only then you are free. There is this quote from Confucius that it says, only, I guess I can search it online and put it here. I don't know if I can share a screen here. I don't know. So I'm gonna continue. But the Confucius, you can Google it. It says, only that person who can be happy with anything can be happy all the time. So only if you can be happy, only if you can still be and feel free and authentic and powerful and honest and congruent right now in the middle of this crisis, then you can be happy all the time. But this is even more important because it's not only about this crisis. It's not, well, this crisis is gonna go away. No, wake up, fucking wake up. This crisis is not going away. This crisis is called life. The corona crisis maybe go away, but this crisis, which is you feel uncomfortable more or less every single day of your entire life. You were born uncomfortable. You experience discomfort. I was talking to the mom of my godson the other day, and I was telling her about my godson is only 3 years old, and I love you, godson. And I was asking her, is he one of the most happy persons that you know? And she's like, yes, of course. And I said, and Do you see him comfortable? Or have you seen him even one day in his 3 years of life, one day where he hasn't been uncomfortable at least once? And she said, no. Think about it. Think about it. You are always uncomfortable at least once a day, probably like 30 times or 300 times. We are always more or less uncomfortable. So it's not about being comfortable. It's about being vulnerable enough, being open enough, being real enough, being authentic enough that you can embrace that discomfort, embrace that tension, embrace this most intense sensation and let it move through you. In some spiritual practices, this is called allowing. This is really just meditating. This is really just being present, but not present or meditating when it's convenient. Not present or meditating when you close your eyes. No, present and meditating right fucking now. Why I'm swearing so much? I'm exploring to be as authentic as I can be. I'm exploring to be as radical as I actually am. I'm doing this process of discovering what is really my most essential values and how to act into are unstoppable. Then you can tap into so much wisdom, so much love, so much compassion, an endless abundance of compassion. And you, but even more, maybe more, this world needs compassion, needs love, needs abundance of love over fear. We need to fucking burn our excuses. I still get a little bit funny with allowing myself to be radical. I'm still finding the middle point, the middle point, the center in this. It's like I've been trying to please people for so long. Probably way less than most people, but still, I need to get back to one center when I'm not trying to please anyone, but still I'm not coming out funny. But we really need to fucking burn our excuses. Burn every excuse that you have, that I have, and really be as fucking loving as we can be. No excuses. Not when it's convenient. Not when you feel comfortable. Not when you feel powerful. Not when you feel confident. Fucking right now, being authentic. And then you'll tap into endless confidence. Only if you can feel confidence when you feel because your confidence is not relying in feeling comfortable. Your confidence is relying in knowing yourself, in loving yourself so much that you can be totally vulnerable, totally real, totally exposing yourself because things are challenging right now. Challenging maybe in your business. They are challenging in my business. I mean, in a way they are better than ever, and in a way what I'm aiming to do is way out of my comfort zone and my known zone. Challenging maybe with your housemates, if you are lucky enough that you have and you are not locked down by yourself. Or challenging because you are alone and you are with yourself. Or challenging because you are trying to get more fit than ever and it's totally out of your comfort zone, or almost totally. And still be comfortable in your discomfort. Be vulnerable with your tension. If you have any question, you can tap it in the comments and it will make this way more interesting. But the most typical question is, and this has been my biggest challenge in my own journey to conquer my unstoppability, to become unstoppable like I am, is to realize that I need to be okay with this tension. I need to master vulnerability. It's not only the fear hacking method has 3 parts, right? How many? Yeah, exactly, 3 parts. And the The first one is attention, the second one is intention, and the third one is action. And these three parts is nothing else but breaking down what happens when we are in flow, what happens when we are spontaneously in flow, in our highest performance. We are really present, attention to the most intense sensation. We are really intentional, really focused, really clearly directed. And not only that, we are also taking action. But for me, the trickiest part has been that as soon as I get present, sometimes there is a lot of tension that wants to be released. Why? Because my system feels, okay, there is more presence, there is more love, I can release this tension that is making me less efficient. And if I am not okay with feeling vulnerable, then that cannot be released, and then I cannot grow as much and as fast and as powerfully as I can. And it's especially tough, and I'm almost finishing this. But before I finish, I want to give you a couple of examples that I'm sure you can relate to, one or the other. And also, I want to give you homework. I want to give you something to explore until I see you next. I'm going to be live again tomorrow at 11. I'm invited by Big Tribe, by Sasha from Bali. And I'm going to be also live 8 p.m. Singapore time, 8 a.m. New York time, 1 p.m. London time on Thursday 2nd, talking about while there is this Corona lockdown, how to find your purpose and conquer your fears. And I love you to your purpose and conquer your fears. And I love you to join me. That one is gonna be here again in the same channel. And I love you to share it with other people if you feel this can be valuable for them. To like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't. But not because I say so, not because every fucking influencer out there and out here is saying that. Just if your gut tells you so. Follow no voice. Follow only your gut. That's true leadership, and that's the only leadership that can lead to freedom for you and for the people that you lead and the people that you influence. So a couple of examples, one homework, and then I let you go until I see you next. Cool? Thank you for being here. It's an absolute honor to be doing my best to touch you. So the couple of examples is, let's say you are talking to your mom. How many of you have some challenges sometimes talking and relating to your mom? Say, I. Most humans have a challenge. Why? Because we've been raised with them. We are so similar to them. They are one of the most perfect mirrors. And then suddenly it's touching your nerves and you are feeling overwhelmed and you are about to react. It requires vulnerability to be in touch with that sensation of discomfort. And instead of blaming the other person, be really, really, really in touch with it. Remember what is your intention, which is for sure experience connection and love and being overflowing with well-being in that. That is your ultimate desire. Be 100% plus satisfied with every area of your life. That's the essence of clarity of desire or vision. If you want to know more about clarity of desire, type it below and we can lead you to another video in my YouTube channel where I explain more about that. So it takes more vulnerability and strength and compassion to be in touch with that tension. Remember your intention and then take an action that is inspired. Attention, intention, action. And the action that is inspired is probably to be vulnerable, to be honest, to say, hey, this is not working for me. I'm feeling really uncomfortable and I don't know how to make it better. But I am feeling I'm feeling pain. Boom. And when you get vulnerable, when you get honest, real, the other person also has a window to get more real and more open. Or you are talking to your partner if you have one. Or you are talking to yourself about the desire of having a partner, or with a friend,
or with someone that you like, and suddenly you say, wow, it's overwhelming for me because I feel that my desire is this deep, beautiful, loving connection, and I'm not finding the strength and the clarity to actually experience that with you right now. And I miss that. And I'm doing my best, and still it doesn't seem to be enough. And I don't have enough strength right now to keep, thank you, brother, living in the space right now for me to be alone, be with myself, and charge my batteries again. Or maybe our greatest mirrors. Mirrors for what? Mirrors for everything that we haven't learned to love in ourselves. That's the essence of vulnerability, the essence of self-mastery, the essence of self-love, confidence, leadership, and success. It is being vulnerable enough. It is being loving enough with yourself that you can love yourself even when you are obviously imperfect. So let's say it's around money, and I need to become vulnerable enough to accept fact. I don't know how to take my money situation to the next level, to the level that I really want. Whether because you are really, really struggling, maybe because out of this crisis you lost your job, or your business is going crazy because your business or your job was offline and now you cannot perform, or either because you want to expand to the next level, and for that you need to change something inside of yourself, because you need to do things different to get different results, and it requires to say, okay, what is what I should do, what is the obvious next action, and that I'm not taking. Okay, the next action is to really have more conversations with people that can lead me to that next level in my business or in my career. And I'm afraid to be rejected. I'm afraid to come across needy. I'm afraid to be rejected. I'm afraid that I'm gonna feel vulnerable and uncomfortable and weak. Okay, then you need to learn to be vulnerable enough to embrace that feeling, so you can still come into that interaction and say, hey, to clarify first, what is what you want, and then express it. Hey, I love to experience this, and it came to my mind that you can help me with a particular action, or just guide me or give me feedback on how to get there. And shut up and let the other person reject you, and be okay with that. And when you are okay with that possibility, most of the time you find out that people don't reject you. People reject you when you try to trick them, when you try to be sneaky and get what you want, taking it from them instead of asking it, and freaking allow them to decide from their own gut, their own discernment, their own decision. Do I want to support this person or not? So you need to be willing to be rejected. You need to find the strength to be vulnerable enough, be self-loving enough that you can love yourself even if you are rejected. And then you are free. So my homework, my assignment, my proposal, my invitation, my challenge to you is to be vulnerable at least 3 days for the next 3 days. To find 3 opportunities where you can be more vulnerable, where which you can be more authentic, where you can be more real, at least 3 times today. And if you are in night time already, at least 3 times, yeah, today, why not? But if today is too tight, then 3 times in the next 24 hours, and 3 times at least in the next 3 days, or in the next 3 blocks of 24 hours. Then share with us. Share here. You can also go to Fear Hackers Tribe and share there. And our Freedom Hackers Tribe. Fear Hackers Tribe is about this methodology, attention, intention, action. If you are attracted to that, you can go there. But I think you need to do a workshop before. So if you haven't done it, you will have the opportunity to do that as a gift from us. And if not, you can go to Fear Hackers Tribe, and that's a community of people like you and me, conscious leaders, that we are here to support each other achieve more inner and outer success, to give the best of us, to increase our inner and outer success so we can have a greater and more loving impact in this world, the people we love and ourselves. So there you go. Share here, share in any of those groups, fearhackerstribe.com or freedomhackerstribe.com, and find 3 opportunities to be vulnerable. Right now, for example, an opportunity for me is that I'm feeling like I got a little bit less focused, a little bit less present. Why? Because still, every time or almost every time, unless I'm really, really intentful, that I am offering something, that I'm giving a call to action, that's the specific term in marketing or sales around inviting the person to take a specific action so you can give them more value. It's still, there is in my mind this recording, this memory from the old me that understood sales and marketing as tricking people into bullshit that they didn't want it. And although now I understand sales and marketing as pushing people to take the most brave actions towards their own dreams, following their own guts, their own discernment toward their own dreams, still there is this memory and this habit of feeling contracted around inviting people to take action. So I was feeling uncomfortable, and now that I express it, I feel less uncomfortable, and I feel more clear, and I feel more powerful and valuable to you. So I don't invite you to follow that action because I tell you so. No, I invite you to listen to this opportunity, this challenge, to be at least 3 times vulnerable during the next 3 days, and to follow your gut. Not do it because I say so, do it if your gut tells you to do so. And regardless, I hope this was useful, that if you want more support of this kind, that you come back and ask for more, and you can like it, share it, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna keep posting the best, most valuable content that I can at least once a week, every week, for many, many months already, and for many, many years to come. Much love. Burn your excuses, follow your gut, be free, be the conscious leader that you are. Support others to remember that they are conscious leaders as well. That every fear, doubt, and negative emotion is only a reminder to come back to alignment, not an excuse to stop shining bright. Burn your excuses, follow your gut, be the conscious leader